Varij Pujara is the Chief Distribution Officer of Aditya Birla Health Insurance. She has a career spanning 25 years plus in financial services, including 20 years in the life insurance, general insurance, and health insurance domain. She has a cross-functional experience in financial services across sales and distribution, ops, strategic business acquisition, development, creating new business models, business strategy, and execution. What sets her apart is her bias for action, focus on profitable growth and building high-performance teams, especially her ability to initiate and manage large and complex businesses and build franchise. And we are so happy and excited that we have her with us today. Thank you so much, Varij, for taking out the time to come in and be an inspiration for a lot of women who are, who look up to you. Over to you, Varij.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. Very good morning to all our speakers, panelists, and all of the people who've joined us online today. A warm welcome to this conclave, Advancing Women in Sales, a topic that's really close to my heart. Having done sales and distribution for 27 years, I have been a very passionate proponent of, women being great sales people and great sales leaders. I actually look back at the time when I started my career, way back in 1995. And I started by selling car finance. And there were hardly any women that I knew who did sales. You can blame my ignorance, or the numbers were so few that I could get away by saying I really didn't know. Today, however, the scene is really different. I guess nearly 20% of the sales force is women. And in fact, I have seen smaller towns, women raising their hands as well to participate in this change. Of course, there's a long distance to travel. When we looked at the developed countries, we see that the ratio is more towards 50%, and we have a long way to go. But I think conclaves such as these are the ones that continue to inspire us. Just like a lot of people starting out sales careers, and I know a lot of you are here as well, I started as an individual contributor, a salesperson on the field. I was great at persuading people. I was great at connecting with the customers. I was good at understanding their problems, and I knew what they wanted, and I was great at finding solutions. When I stand here today and I ponder, aren't these the natural qualities and instincts that all of us here possess, all the women possess? As human beings, we all have these. But as women, I think we have an edge because these come naturally to us. And I'm sure a lot of my male colleagues too have these qualities. But as a woman, I think nature has been kinder to me, and I have these properties inherently. So what's stopping us from using this, qualities that we already have, which come naturally to us? When I was selling car finance, let me tell you, it was 25, 27 years ago, really competitive, because selling is not just a sale. It's also about ensuring that every time you sell, it's a good sell. Your customer is happy, your organization is happy. Your company should not have to struggle, like in car finance, to recover what you have sold. I remember putting up my hand 28 years ago to go on recovery calls, on the field, to understand what I need to do differently and how I need to be more vigilant in sales. It was a natural instinct for me. Whether it was selling consumer durable financing later in life, or doing life insurance, or doing health insurance, or doing general insurance. It was my authentic self that made me get into the situation, solve the problem, and complete the business. I've always believed that there are certain qualities that are required in sales: analyzing, connecting, collaborating, finding solutions, influencing, driving outcomes, and learning. These qualities, according to me, are gender agnostic. But I've seen in my career that women are more likely to focus on connecting, collaborating, and solving problems. And in my view, this is what makes women great salespeople. And that's where we see higher productivity in our women sales folk. I have about 25% women in my team of about 4,000. And I've seen now, with the world moving to more digital, remote selling, emotional quotient has become even more important. It was always important. Connecting with your consumers was always important. But now with the world moving digital, it's become even more important. And customers expect meaningful connections happening digitally. And I think that in my experience, women demonstrate this much, much better and much more. I have always believed that I could do what all my other colleagues could do. Be yourself, believe in yourself. I've often been one of the only women in the room, but I believe that you have to use it to your advantage. Don't downplay the qualities that make you unique. As women, we have qualities that make us naturally fit for sales, like our ability to build relationships, trust, and so on. We are more empathetic and we are more understanding. So we should capitalize on our strengths, as these are very important leadership traits and attributes. I've always been very authentic, and I've raised my hand wherever I felt that I could do a great job. Problem solving, authenticity, and actually, patience are some of the traits that I identify a lot of women with. And as I said earlier, it's natural wiring for us. It's there in me. I'm sure all of you have it as well. Please don't wait for people to give you an opportunity to show your skills. Raise your hand, speak up for yourself, and take total ownership over whatever you control. There are a lot of things we don't control in life, but whatever we control, my request to every woman in this virtual conference is that please take control of whatever you can control. When I look back at my early days in Birla Sun Life Insurance way back in 2001, the only model of selling when I joined was agency. We had these LIC agents, and that's how insurance was sold. We looked at partnering with banks, and I was a second employee in doing something different. It was so new that we didn't have a name for us. The agency channel was called a direct channel, and so we called ourselves alternate channels. So here, I was a second recruit. There were no regulations. There was nothing. We were so new. We did not know how to sell and what to do. First of all, we had to go and convince the banks that they can sell insurance, which luckily, we did a great job and we did that. But then we had to actually go out and sell. The first bank I still remember was Citibank. And while we were great at tying up and convincing them, when we started going out on sales calls with the bankers, we realized it wasn't going to be easy. We realized we needed trainers. So the banker said, why don't we put trainers? We said, okay, let's put trainers into the bank branches. We started from there. And then we realized that those trainers were actually morphed into sales guys. They trained the bank staff. They went out on joint sales calls, but they became sales managers. And today, there is a whole sales model behind this. There are a couple of lakhs of sales managers supporting banks to sell insurance across life. We faltered, we pivoted, we learned, we failed, we picked up again. I sold the first policy through a bank in the country, and I know the things that I did wrong, the things that I learned from it, and how we pivoted. The feeling, and I always believe, we as women are great. We have grit and resilience, and we don't give up. And I think that's what's worked for me, and I'm sure it's worked for a lot of you as well. Today, it is heartening to see that this model gives employment, like I said, to a couple of lakhs of people, and that alternate channel is no longer alternate. It's the major channel. It contributes to more than 60% of that business in life insurance. What I learned on the job during those early days wasn't taught to me during my MBA. I've done an MBA, I'm an engineer, but that really wasn't taught to me during my MBA. The journey from being an individual contributor to building high-performing large teams was quite a ride. Women in sales have all the more reason to achieve it because they listen, they understand, they empathize. I think that I am possible attitude that women have is the real story and the real reason of success behind women in whatever they do. As you grow and start leading larger teams, I've realized that you need to master both the art and science of sales. I think leadership is all about listening. It's about having empathy. It's about communication and connecting. And it's also about enabling your teams in sales, not just asking, how much have you done? Which is the general tendency that I've seen. I've always felt that leading by example, establishing positive relationships with teams, with colleagues, with partners that you work with, and has made outcomes happen for me. I've always endeavored to create a safe environment. And I think a lot of organizations today are doing that. And when I say safe environment, I mean an environment of respect, trust, and empathy. These are very critical for gender diversity. I'm lucky that I have been fortunate to work in organizations like the Aditya Birla Group. I've worked there for over 18 years, and I am where I am today because of the platform that they provided me to succeed. The meritocracy-based platform that I have got. Whenever I've raised my hand and said, I want to do something, I've always been given the equal opportunity. I feel proud that Aditya Birla Group has one of the best support systems for women employees, be it extended maternity policy, flexibility to take care of newborns, extended support towards nanny facilities, creche facilities, but most importantly, they care and protect for you during your most difficult times. Half our country is women, and by that logic, half of the sales team should be women. Isn't it logical that if a company wants to succeed, then there should be equal representation in the sales force of the consumers they want to attract? Today, for me, I think gender diversity is not fashionable. It is a necessity. More representation of women is a need than what is currently represented. And the skills that we bring as women, according to me, are just complementary. That make organizations really strong. A different point of view on the table, I have noticed anytime, is always welcome. But, there are challenges. We all know there are challenges women have faced and are facing in sales. It's overcoming the bias and stereotypes. Many of us think that a job in sales is what a man excels at because it's the aggressive, perceived nature of the job role. But according to me, women's abilities to sell and to convince are often underestimated. And I've seen that has somehow become an unconscious bias amongst people in sales. This stereotype actually creates real obstacles for women. I have, over my 27 years, got, in my early days, got advice, why don't you look at something different? You have to travel so much. You're out 25 days a month. How are you going to manage? This bias of people not getting enough opportunities for promotions, women getting paid lesser, so on and so forth. And this combined with the fact that women are a minority today in sales leaves that woman feeling that they don't have a community. They feel undervalued and they feel represented. I think today organizations like Aditya Birla Group are focusing on increasing the number of women in sales. They have changed the way they look at attracting women, retaining women, and promoting them. I have always focused on diversity-focused recruitment. I publicize diversity, but that's not enough. You have to make a concerted effort to retain the people, because I've seen women in the early stages of the career. We see a lot of women in sales, but as we move ahead and higher, a lot of them drop off. So organizations need to foster inclusive cultures, and I've always tried to do that. We need to provide mentorship and promotion opportunities to the women as well. Changing a culture, from my perspective, takes a lot of time, but we have to work with our employees to confront the bias. We have to openly discuss the shift towards inclusivity. We have to hold our leadership accountable. And I have always worked on offering sponsorships because I think that's a great way to bring about a change. When I see my journey of 27 years, I've realized that it's not me alone that has made it work. If a woman has to work outside of home, and in sales especially, it involves a lot of travel. It's constantly being on call. The support system that you create is supremely important. I remember my role model, Indra Nooyi, who said, I still remember this thing, that you can have it all with a great support system. Some sacrifices, some collateral damage under the water, and if you're willing to make a trade-off. As women, we are leaders, we are bosses, we are salespeople, we are mothers, we are wives, we are daughters, we are daughter-in-laws, and we have a lot of roles to play. I have always believed in creating a support system, whether it's home, and I credit a lot of my success, to my family, to my household help, and everybody who supported me. I've always grabbed all the help that I could get and I'm not shy or hesitant about it. In fact, I also try and teach my son, who's 10 years old, to be empathetic. And he's always been told at home that your mother loves what she does, just like your father does. And if she's happy, then we are all going to be happy at home. So the children understand the meaning of personal aspirations, and how it's important to pursue your goals and aspirations. It helps to develop a very healthy environment at home. And I have seen today that a lot of children value their own dreams. They learn this from us. They learn to take up financial responsibilities. And the boys, especially, as I have a son, like I was telling you, they will, I'm hoping, learn to be a lot more supportive towards the pursuits of female members in the family and grow up to be more empathetic. So I want to just, as we are speaking, I want to just throw up, reflecting on the topic that we've discussed so far, I want to throw in some questions for all of us to reflect for a moment and look at what is it that is stopping us internally. Yeah. Why is that balance not equal? Why are there only 20% of women in sales today? Is it because sales are not easy? Is it because women feel that they get lesser promotions than men? Is there a bias that women can't travel? Is it our immediate environment? And probably is this bias more to do with us, our own self? As I leave you with all these questions, I'll invite you to explore the rich conversations that the day is going to bring forth for you. I know, and I promise you that the day is going to be very enriching and very reflective. Please do make the most out of your discussions and take the lead in this transformation. I truly believe that women can have it all as long as we know what our all is, and as long as we have the grit, resilience, and the passion to make it happen. I stand here in front of you, having done sales and being a sales leader, sales and distribution leader for 27 years. And I would request and urge each and every one of you, follow your passion, follow your dream, and make it happen. Once again, let me thank People Connect and LinkedIn for organizing this wonderful event and giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Varij, for that inspirational start to the day.